those headlines, see, like the problem is the way that algorithms work is they really rely on catchy headlines. And it really does not matter about the substance of the article. Because if you had a title saying commercial real estate is mixed going into 2020, that is not catchy. And then, yes, you
No,
could talk about the portfolio in San Francisco, but on the very next line, talk about, hey, there's still plenty of self-storage deals that are mom and pops that are 50% below market value. If you invest in the right operator in the right location, commercial real estate is just fine. That will not be very catchy. That will not get the comments
right.
going, and it won't move up in the search parameters.
Yeah.
So the other thing we want to go over, this was in the one that you sent me today, which was, I think it was a little bit different, but it was, I don't want to mention names, but it was one of these tech real estate companies buying another tech real estate company for 100 million when their previous valuation was 800 million. And one thing, this is something that's dear to my heart because when I started investing 7, 8 years ago as an LP on the commercial real estate side, I started through a company called Realty Shares,
Hmm.
which ended up going bankrupt. And what my biggest learning from that debacle was basically that every couple of years, there's going to be some tech spin on a new trend in real estate. And it's going to disguise the fact that real estate is real estate. I don't want to sound like a 100-year-old man, but real estate has been around. I believe when I was researching my book, going back thousands of years to like Roman times. And you could spin it any way you want. And when I first got started, crowdfunding was the rage. And then it went into real estate with like the tokenization of real estate. And now, Paul, I know you've been seeing it all over. It's all about how AI is going to be used in real estate. And all of that is this huge distraction. And anytime you invest in real estate, make sure you're actually investing in real estate and not an actual tech company that's disguised as real estate, because those guys are not going to know their section. Like your Nevada self-storage guy, he probably could go on Jeopardy and run the racket of a self-storage section, right? He knows his
Right.
self-storage from the $200 question to the $1,000 question. You bring on one of these crowdfunding tech guys to the thing, and he won't even know the basics. Like they know the terminology, but it's a whole different level. It's like graduating high school, getting an MBA in real estate from one of the 5 best programs. It's a whole different level of real estate knowledge.
Yeah, you're right. That's absolutely right. And so that story was interesting. And I'm glad you pointed out that it had a peak valuation of 7 or 800 million. And now it's being talked about as being worth 100 million. And I think one of the points of it is it was tech and it didn't perform anywhere near what they thought the sky was the limit. This thing was just going to take over the world and it's going to be it's approaching $1 billion valuation 6 years ago. But now that it's materialized and it's really actually out there and working, it's worth maybe 100 million. And the point of that, and this goes back to Buffett, always goes back to Buffett. No, seriously, Buffett in 1999 was criticized. He was called an old fool, senile, has been, and like it was basically people said he had lost it because he was really old by then. He was 69, which is, I'm laughing because that's not that old at all, especially now that he's 93 and still crushing it. But anyway, Buffett said, I would rather invest in Wrigley's gum than I would in the internet or any technology company. Why? Because I don't know where internet technology will be 10 years from now, but I know how people will be chewing gum. And so he got up at this big conference. It's in the book.